Welcome to the first episode of the Age of Paradox podcast. We're here to help you make sense of a world which is getting weirder and weirder.
So weird.
It's very weird. We're going to take you through the latest development in politics, business, and more.
Did you say butt politics?
Butt politics, you know. My name is Robert Valentine, and this is
Kayvan Nikjou.
Nikjou. How are you doing?
I'm not a Jew.
You're not a Jew?
Not a Jew.
Okay, good to know.
You said that
Just
before.
for the record, he's not a Jew.
I don't mind, but I'm not a Jew.
Finally, man.
Yes.
How long did it take to do this?
5 months, 25 days.
Something like that, yeah. In 12 hours. We've been wanting to do this podcast already for
5 months, 25 days.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
Because we feel the mainstream narrative is broken. Right?
I got shit to say.
What you got to say?
A lot of stuff, but we can get there. But yeah, it's definitely broken. Who watches TV anymore?
Apparently, a lot of people still.
Yeah.
Someone ran up to me yesterday saying, "Hey, I saw you on television the other day." I thought, what? You
Definitely did not happen. Did that happen?
100%.
Someone came to you.
Yeah.
In the street.
No, at my job.
Specify.
Yeah. So no, yeah, but nobody should watch television. That's definitely the thing. Everybody should watch podcasts and stuff like that, where it's more credible nowadays than it is on TV.
Yeah.
But yeah. So why are we doing this? Why are we doing this podcast?
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
We got so much to say. We talk a lot. We have pretty sick sense of humor, and I don't agree. I don't agree in anything almost that you say.
Yeah, it's funny because we were starting this episode, or before we start this episode, we never talk about politics, and I'm really political.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been the chairman of the Dutch Libertarian Party. I ran for parliament twice, for city council in Amsterdam once. We're in Amsterdam right now, capital of the Netherlands. Good to know. Mm-hmm. I have a podcast on politics, and we never discuss politics.
That's lame.
But I think we are somewhat in the same vicinity of things. Like, I feel you are not really like this woke leftist. No. Crazy person, purple hair, crazy fuck, saying you should cut off your dick because you can be whatever gender you want to be nowadays. That's not you, I think.
No, I do want to have a purple beard one day. I was thinking about it, like growing a really long beard and just tainted purple.
Like Santa long or?
No. Just like like here long, like a hipster long. That'd be fun, like just a purple for one day, or neon green. That'd be interesting. I don't know, just a try. But
I can't wait until my beard turns gray all the way.
Really?
So yeah, it's something I want to have a gray afro, but that's not going to happen.
You want a gray afro?
Yeah,
I can't.
You
imagine.
Anyway, we're digressing.
How disturbing that would be.
We were about the purple woke people.
Yeah,
so you're not like that. But
no.
I come from a libertarian background. I'm an anarcho-capitalist, I believe.
Narco?
Narco. That's a new one. I want to be a narco-capitalist. This is definitely going to be on the t-shirt.
Okay, explain what that means.
So anarcho-capitalist means you're an anarchist capitalist instead of like an anarchist communist, which means that you want to have the state or so. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what the fucking anarchist communist is, because for me, communism means that you have a state ruling everything, and I believe the state should rule as less as possible. I believe no state is the best state you can have.
Have you been in Somalia?
I knew someone who worked for the DOD, the Department of Defense in Somalia, and she said before we went in there, it was working fine. Before we came and fucked up
she
society.
was lying.
Have you been there?
No, but that's a state. I mean, there's many stateless countries, right? I mean, but
are there?
Yeah, many. Like there are a few in the world that are
which ones?
Almost entirely like stateless. Well, I can mention a few. One is Haiti. Is pretty close to stateless. Actually, a prime minister just quit, and one of his ministers just got eaten in the streets. So
by what was it? General Barbecue, right?
Barbecue.
Yeah, that was his name.
That's it really his name?
It's not his name, but that's what I call him now because he eats his fucking enemies.
That is brutal name, actually.
Okay, but that's a good thing. So they're stateless, but they're not without state interference. You know, if you look at their history, especially Haiti, they've been fucked over since the 1800s, from becoming a slave colony until, you know, the US invading and meddling with their business. So it's hard to be a state. There's not really an anarchist state the way I see it. Like where I think the United States in 1776 was the closest to the ideal I would like to see besides slavery.
It's good I mentioned that last part.
Just a side note. That's slavery. I love the founding founders, but not the fact that they enslaved my ancestors. But, that's a weird thing.
But we do live in a corporation right now. I mean, Netherlands.
In a what?
Corporation. Netherlands is a corporation. So, you know, how do you feel? Like, are they really like interfering in your meddling in your business here?
Definitely. What the fuck?
Yeah, is that why you annoyed? Like you ticked off over that?
Yeah, man, don't get me going.
Yes. We'll get there. But anyway, let's just go a little
No, but like, yeah, so I mean, the Netherlands is a good example. We both live here, and we were talking about taxes the other day. I mean, they take half of your salary. I mean, this is not a free country. That's what people think. People think Amsterdam and the Netherlands, that's the, you know, the epiphany of a free market and of less rules. But it might have been like 100 or 200 years ago, but it has not been that since, I don't know, since I was born, since I have active memory. And I believe for a world to prosper, you need as less bureaucrats as possible. And this is not the country which sets that example.
So what you think we do in this podcast? Like you have stuff to say as well. But.
Yeah, no, for me, like I am, so like I said, I was in politics for 10 years, 10, 12 years. I quit. This is the first year I'm not politically affiliated to any party. I've been a member and the chairman and the front runner of the Libertarian Party here for 10 years, I think. But I noticed how hard it is to convince people of my, you know, my beliefs and the fact that we need less government. I mean, I know I'm a radical. Like I see no government, but like 20% less will already be really nice to see that. And I see that media has a big role in deciding what people know and how they think, which topics in society gets talked about and what gets not talked about. And I think media is a tool for government and politics. And it makes politics and government bigger and more influential than it should be. And it makes them look, how you say that? It makes them look more important than they are in the people's minds. And I wanna destroy that narrative. I think having a media company will help bring about a freer and more prosperous world. And that's why I'm doing this. I want to change people's thinkings. I want to change the culture of ideas. I want to change what you think is possible and what we can do as a people. I think we're more, you know, people are just stuck in a fucking rat race the whole time. And I think we can do way more than we're doing right now. And I think media is a way of helping people understand that. I mean, we did not talk about politics yet, but we did talk about things happening in the world. And if you look at those things, I didn't know about it, but it will show you, like I said, I want to help people make sense of a world which is getting weirder and weirder. I'm not sure if it is the drugs I've been doing lately.
We're going to talk about this, but and also about your stupid shirt. Which is,
it's fucking amazing.
I hate your shirt.
Let's go back to that. Let me show my shirt. Can you see it?
God damn it, that's so annoying. You have to stare at this the whole freaking day. What does it even say? It's
most likely a psyop. It's most likely a psyop. So you know what a psyop is?
No, explain it to me.
A psyop means psychological operation, meaning is what the CIA or any government secretive organization does to influence people. And that's what I think. If I look at the mainstream news nowadays, the things I see, I think this is a fucking psyop. Like I feel like I'm jumping from psyop to psyop. We had fucking, you know, the fucking corona shit going on and all that. And then we came into the Ukraine Russia war. Then we went straight into the fucking Israel Palestinian conflict. Like it feels like a laser on the wall, and we're the cat. You know, we're just like we need to look. You know, going on. They're trying to get your fucking attention on stuff which it goes away from the essence where we really need to talk about.
And you told me when we met, you told me that you're half Dutch and your another half is American, United States.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're half black American and then you're half Dutch white.
Yes.
So do you feel like this conflicts in your mind? You have like two different separate like
entities.
One wants to shoot the other one.
No.
Like.
That's so racist.
Everything's gonna be racist in this show.
No, this is going to be the most politically incorrect podcast there is.
So incorrect.
Get used about it.
So incorrect.
Get used about it. Get used to it. So yeah, but that's my way why I believe this is important to do, and I want to have fun. This is a good way to start your Friday.
That's true.
Have a good podcast. Have a laugh at your friend about other people's misery. That's definitely good. But what's your take on why you want to do this podcast?
Just to counterbalance your madness.
You think?
just
what needs balancing?
Just to give you another point of view, because I don't agree with almost anything you say usually, which is fun. So I love that being like, no, but in all seriousness, I think in the world like I live now, I think everyone lives their own world. Like everyone agrees in this, but I think in the world I live now, people are not used to or even comfortable to debate on anything. And if you debate with your friends, they get either annoyed or they don't want to debate, or people just think you're rude that you want to debate. I think debating is very healthy. On the debate, if you look at the world's most successful diplomatic countries and the most countries that have really, really good foreign offices and spread around like the culture the best, I think they're like, you can say Britain is really, really top of the game in diplomacy. They're always been great. I think they ruled a lot of the countries around the world with very little people due to their greatness of diplomacy, and that comes from the way they debate. I studied in Scotland in university, and it was every day you had open debates and debates on politics, religion. We had so many debates on every topic. We could debate on them, and it was wonderful because they don't get offended. Like they might get too close to offended, but they're happy to debate about it, and then they won't get like angry. Like for example, like try to debate with Spanish people and see what happens. It's just like it doesn't happen like that. So I think debating is really, really important, and I want to debate things. It doesn't mean like I agree or disagree. That's besides the point. But debating means like you actually cultivate your sense of understanding of the world much more. You bring a new view of the world, which is really important because this world is so multicultural. We are both multicultural here. We have Kirill, who is also multicultural here behind the camera. So we have a lot. One way or another, you're going to be in a multicultural environment. You need to understand how to debate with these people, understand the different views of the world, and that's the first thing I want to do here because I need to debate. I don't want to be shying away from it anymore.
You need it.
That's definitely one. Yeah.
But it's a really good point because we were thinking about the name of the podcast. We named it Age of Paradox now, but we were thinking about opposing views at first because I also think there's no room for debate. I didn't know what you were saying. I really love the story about the UK and how they, I mean, again, it's slavery, but fuck that part of it. But the fact that they commandeered the world in a way really efficiently because they were able to, debate amongst each other really well. And I think that's something that's lost. Like people start shouting at each other instead of debating. Yeah. And that's why I also like that you're not the same, you're not, you do not have the same political views as I do. Although I do think, well, we will explore this in this podcast, how close we are and where we really differ on subjects. But I think we need more discussion and the open debate in society instead of, especially online. People. I mean, I've been doing podcasts now already for 3 years and been in the political arena for a long time, and people tend to shout and yell too quickly instead of like understanding what someone's coming from.
Your podcast in Dutch, right?
Yeah, that's why I want to do this one. This is because I think Amsterdam, Netherlands is an interesting place. The Netherlands is also like a political force. I mean, it was a world power. And we're in the building. This building is like from 1649, I believe. Like
tell us about this.
It's like it was part of the West Indian Company, who and it was like a leather factory. So like in the basement here, they used to slaughter, the cows, and they would stack it up right here. There's like big paperweight presses here hanging from the ceiling. You can see them. So this is like a historical landmark, and Netherlands has a big role in geopolitics, in the world, in business. We're great in doing business. So I think it's interesting to show our view as we're people from Amsterdam, maybe not originally, but to give our take on geopolitics. And I think what we do have in common is like we're a critical mindset, and we are very curious about everything what's going on in the world. So wait, we talked about my background, but your background, because you are from Iran.
Yeah, I'm Iranian originally, but I lived all my life, not all my life, most of my life in Finland. We moved to Finland because of the. I have to also be a little disclaimer, as you know, we talked about this off camera. I have to be very careful what I say about Iran in general. This is
I will not.
You don't need to, but I have to, because it's not a country or government you wanna antagonize. It's not.
People, I think that goes for every government, but
but the Dutch government won't send you assassins.
No, that's right. No, they will send armed people to throw you somewhere where the light don't shine. Yeah,
really?
If you don't pay taxes or whatever.
Yeah, taxes. Yeah, when it's about money, Dutch government gets really mafioso about it.
Or I have some other examples, but it's definitely different than
very different.
Iran.
Yeah,
but you feel that it's because you're from Iran that there's more of a target on your back, like instead of mine, or you think it's the same and I just don't give a shit?
No, it's not a target. It's just that they don't know that I exist, and I would like to keep it like that. I have nothing against them, Iranian people and Iran in this country, but the government I don't agree with, and I think that happens with a lot of people. But Iran is a very different country than any other country in the world. It has such immense geopolitical power. Like we can all see it. Like it's everywhere now. But
I'm not sure about that though.
Yeah, it has immense geopolitical power, because if you see anything that happens around Iran, it's like all the countries, it controls all of them. Like it has all influence around, like even Turkey has. Like it goes way beyond to Yemen and Oman, and it's just immense power. Like Argentina, that stuff that's happening with Iran and the government. But we'll talk about that. But yeah, I am originally from Iran. I moved to Finland with my family as refugees, because we had a war in Iran, Iraq-Iran war, which we have to also talk about, because that stuff is crazy. I've actually learned about it recently. I had no idea all the things. But yeah, from there I moved to studied in Scotland in university in Britain, journalism, and then I went to live in New York, and then lived in Spain and Dubai, Bahrain, Berlin.
How long have you lived in those places?
In Scotland I studied 4 years, and then my parents lived in London since 1999, so I went to live in London for 1 year. I didn't like it at all. London is crazy. And then I went to New York, lived there for a year, worked in a camp, driving cars in a summer camp, private summer camp. Amazing. Learned so many skills, and then went to Dubai, lived there 1 year, and then Bahrain, lived there 1 year. Thing with Middle East is that although I'm from Middle East, I'm from part of Middle East in Europe, in northern Iran, that is really lush and green, so I'm used to that. So it's like a Switzerland of Middle East. It's really, really lush, rains all the time and beautiful. So I'm not used to the sand of 40 degrees, and sand is everywhere, even in your eyeballs, and I had sand everywhere every time. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, I moved to Berlin, and I was really happy in there. I loved Germany, I loved Berlin, and I was there for 1 year as well. And then Madrid for 8 years, and then here in Amsterdam.
Yeah, so you've seen the world.
I've seen the world, and I think that's really important. It gives me a perspective. Like I said before, like I picked up culture around the world. I have friends in, I think I calculated 2 days ago, I have my own podcast where I talk about cultures, and I was calculating how many countries do I have friends in, and I calculated exactly 31 countries. I have in 31 countries, like friends I can like pick up a phone and like, talk. So that gives me a good insight to the world's cultures, and I can shit talk about a lot of people.
It's always good.
It's always good. But yeah, that brings me here, and I always wanted to debate and talk and get stuff and not filtered,
Yeah.
So podcast is perfect for that. But I never had another idiot to actually talk with, like to have a debate with. And it's funny because I told my mom, I was like, "Yeah, I finally found this guy." I was like, "Yeah, I always wanted to do it." Like, "Oh yeah, we found him." I was like, "Yeah." So now we talk, and he doesn't get offended, and he doesn't. So I think this part
just annoyed sometimes.
Yeah, just annoying is fine, because you can annoy me, I annoy. But I think the world is getting like so, like you said in the beginning nicely, that the world is becoming so weird. It's also becoming weird. We are so saturated with so much information, so much input, so much prompting from so many different areas. I noticed that people who work at corporations, all my friends, they completely sanitize. They have no opinion at all, almost at all.
In what way?
They don't have like the cojones. They don't have the balls to actually talk anything that is out of the norm because they're scared. Even off duty, they're like, oh my God, someone's going to hear, put it on social media and they're going to get fired.
Yeah.
That's fucking sad.
Yeah.
I worked here in a corporation. Everybody was exactly the same. Nobody would say anything different. You had to do exactly the same. No opinions on your own. You had to talk. And it was like, so I think all my friends who work at corporations, they're wonderful people, but they're not the people that you want to talk, debate, talk when I mean like really challenge their ideology, or they're not listening to music that is different. They're not watching movies that are weird. They're just like doing the thing. And that's fine. But I need the weird.
So, but I'm interested in this because I feel the same way. Like I feel there's this. I mean, it's just censorship. We just talked about the fact that the Dutch government does not go kill you or throw you in jail, like maybe the Iranian government or other governments do. But they're really hard though on censorship. Like in the EU now in the Netherlands, you have this Digital Service Act, and together with big tech and corporate media, they decided they started this thing called the Truth Initiative. You heard of it?
No.
And the Truth Initiative means that they just want to decide what is true or not. They decide which opinions are valid and or not. And it's just. I mean, like I said, I have a YouTube channel, and we're getting shadow banned, and I'm gonna be afraid of this one too. Like I'm not sure how long this will last on YouTube, saying the stuff we're saying. Like I think maybe. No, we just have to find out. But the censorship, together with from the corporate media, together with the state, is really big. And like you said, if you talk about certain subjects, I mean, I made a quick joke in the beginning about transgenders. Like, I mean, comedians and people who do that, they get slaughtered.
That's true, yeah.
They get slaughtered. Like, and it's just this. I don't know, and that's why I say I want to see how close we are on some subjects, because the fact that you don't like that way of thinking, the fact that you feel you should be a free thinker. I mean, that's what I'm for, freedom. Like that's like a high ideal of mine, that you should be free to be yourself. And offense comes sometimes in having a free society. That's just part of it. You need to clash with ideas to make sure which idea is the best. You never know from the get-go which idea will work and which one does not work. You need to find it out in discussion, in talking, in trying. That's why I like the free market, because it's not that people who run a business are better equipped in knowing what society needs than bureaucrats do, but they have the effect of trial and error. They have the mechanism of trial and error. You just try a business, it fails. I mean, 80% of businesses fail like in the first year or something like that.
Crazy,
like it's really high, because you never know what works. You just need to try it.
Yeah.
But the fact that you see, that people are stuck in this, what I call NPC character.
NPC?
NPC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
non-player character.
Yeah,
You have memes about it, like the gray guy with like the nose who gets get mad at nothing, or you say there's only two genders and then it's mad, but that stuff, like I'm throwing it out now again, but like that it's, we live in a world where saying that there's a man and a woman is controversial now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I think, and that's why I say there's, at some points, I think we feel like we are aligned with some stuff. And I think at other points, I will try to convince you how less of a state we need to really function here.
Well, I'm also curious about that, because I am annoyed about the amount of taxes like we pay. I had a really good debate yesterday with the actual neighbor who was really amazing, and she's Dutch, and I said, like, how be honest with me, do you like living in Amsterdam? She asked me. I was like, I did until yesterday. It's like, they sent me a water tax. I was like, what the hell is this? 380 euros to pay a water tax. It's like, what is this? I already pay taxes. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it is, okay, so Amsterdam is a very special city. Like, people want to live here, no doubt. Like, living here feels like you're living in a privilege. Like, you're in the last last level of Super Mario. Like it does feel like that because it's a game. It looks like a game. Like you're walking outside, like how does that building looks like a candy store? Like, so it does feel very unique city, and you do pay for it. But Jesus, man, this much, like it's a lot of money, and I'm really considering, is this worth it? Like, and it's worth it, worth it in a way that you meet people who are really different from other countries. Like I lived in 11 cities, and I feel here, people are on a different level. They're like London, but in a more concise way. There's more like business here. People have very, very sharp motivations. They're not like, I don't know what I'm doing. I never met a person who's like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I'm unemployed. Everyone's like doing something or going places, and they're traveling, and they are speaking languages. Besides the Americans, there's nobody who's monolinguist here. Like there's everyone is almost at least duolingual, maybe trilingual. And the kids, have you seen the kids, like 5-6 year olds that speak like 2 or 3 languages? So this brings this Amsterdam in Netherlands into a different context to me. And it brings it to context of like, okay, if this is in your opinion, which I'm also interested in, you say Dutch government gets involved too much. My opinion is it's just a lot of taxes. Well, otherwise, I don't see them getting involved. They're actually quite out of the way, like especially with starting a business and stuff like that. Like I lived in Spain before, which is like a really micromanagement government. You're saying the opposite. Explain yourself.
No, I'm not saying the opposite, but I'm saying it's not. You're right. The Spanish government is even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, but one fact, the taxes are crazy high. So you have your income tax, and then you get your, you have your sales tax. You have, your water tax, your local tax. You have your tax on cigarettes, on
garbage
tax. But I mean, it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
It goes on and on. Like I think I have a business. I think I pay 70% tax or something like that.
That's insane.
It's really out of fucking the
much.
world. And the other thing is, and that's what I think is devious about the Netherlands. It has, like I said in the beginning, it has a image of being for free trade and freedom, but I call it backdoor communism. They have backdoor communism right here, and that's, for instance, one of the things which I think is a good example is that we used to have a healthcare system where you could either have like public healthcare, ziekenfonds it was called, sick fund, or you had private healthcare.
So you could choose.
You could choose.
Oh, nice.
Before 2008.
Oh.
In 2008, they had a new healthcare law, and like. And the adversaries of the free market said, see, now we have like private healthcare and it's all going to shit. Because now you can only get healthcare from insurance and not from the government. And then they think it's free market because it's from a company instead of not from the government. Wow. And they said they privatized healthcare in 2008, but they didn't privatize it. They nationalized healthcare in 2008 because there were no other options than to. The government decides the products. They decide who can sell the product. They can decide who buys it. Or you have to buy one. Like there's nothing free about that in that sense. But you might not understand and notice that when you are doing it. When you're getting healthcare, you think it's just from some business, but it's heavily regulated from the back. And that goes for almost every industry in the Netherlands. It's heavily regulated from the back. Yeah. So it looks like a free market, but on the front end, but on the back end, it's just really nipped in the butt.
So what is a free market? Exactly.
A free market means the absence of government. The fact that you are allowed to choose what you want to do if you don't harm anyone else. It's the freedom of contract. So you're able to get any contract you would like from any supplier you need without a third party interfering. And here you have always a third party interfering, the government. I mean.
So is there a country in the world that you admire? You're like, that they're doing well?
Well, it's like Switzerland is... They have a really decentralized type of government. So there's politics and there's government, but it's on a low level. So there's almost no national laws, which makes it more easy to challenge the policymakers because they live right next door to you. I mean, it's not some guy in Brussels or The Hague in our instance where the national government is. It's closed door, and they're more aligned with the local interest. And I like the decentralized system they have in Switzerland, but also Hong Kong comes close to it. There's also, I mean, there's some Asian countries who turned around their system like a few decades ago.
Like Singapore, is that it?
Singapore
is
and
that
Hong
one?
Kong, those two. But Singapore is interesting because Singapore is really free on the economic side, but it's heavily regulated on the personal side. I mean, if you throw garbage in the street, you get a fine. I mean,
but that's fine, right? I mean, that's good, no?
No, because I hate government. I mean, it's
wait,
not,
hold on. If you hate government, does that mean also that you don't want them to clean up the streets?
No, I would pay a business to do that.
It's like, have you seen what's happening in UK? And they're all privatized, and it's a mess.
I have not seen it.
Ah, it's a mess.
Have you seen the streets here in Amsterdam?
It's a mess also.
Because it's not privatized. But I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the. I should look up this. We're probably gonna. Because I think I already noticed you give me insights on stuff I didn't know about sometimes. So I probably have to look up sometimes when I'm really. Like I said, we're both curious, so we both read a lot, but I don't know everything. So we'll probably have open-end discussions and get back to it on the next episode.
For sure.
And the next episode, and like I said, I think the 1776 United States, Singapore, Hong Kong, Switzerland, before COVID, New Zealand and Australia also were pretty low on regulation. And the funny thing is, like, there's this index called the Ease of Doing Business by the World Bank. And the country where you can start business the most easy is in Denmark. Like, that's number one.
Okay.
Scandinavia is actually, people think Scandinavia is really leftist, but they were also until a few decades ago. And then they saw that it was not, you can't pay. I mean, eventually you run out other people's money. That's the fucking problem with leftist policies.
Yeah.
And they had that, and so they switched back towards a more free market system.
Estonia is really good. Estonia has this e-residency.
Yeah.
I think in Europe, that's the country that has the, the fastest or second fastest way of starting a company with very little money. And you can even have like an e-residency card, which means that you don't even need to live there to start a company.
Yeah.
And there are only 1 million people in Estonia, so they actually want you to move there. And it's a pretty good system there. I have friends who moved there. Estonia has a fantastic story. They have so many unicorn startups. They have huge startups, small startups. I think 30 or 40% of the country is entrepreneurs. They just start companies. They can close them in no problem. Whereas in opposite side of the Europe, like Spain, they punish you for opening a company. They punish you for closing a company. But Spain has huge startups still because of the language. It has a market that you cannot beat. So it's like an interesting balance there. I see where you're coming from. I don't agree with almost like half of what you say about the...
Look, we're halfway in the podcast. We went from totally not agreeing to halfway.
Yeah,
so
halfway.
We're getting there.
Just on the point of the free market. Like, I appreciate it, but I want to
So what don't you agree with?
No, the part of the like clean the streets and policing and these things, they should not be private because we need to keep them accountable as well. We need to keep...
But you think government is accountable?
No, but we can influence at least something in
How?
the government. Like, I think by democratical situations, like where we can vote in, vote out, we can express our opinions, we can demonstrate. We can demonstrate, right? We can protest.
Hardly. You can hardly protest. You can. They will give you a little patch where you can stand on with your. And even if only when they want you to. I mean, that's not protesting anyways. Like, if you can only protest when the government allows you to protest, that's not protest at all. So that's the one thing.
Okay.
Secondly, like, the accountability. This is the main reason why I'm against government, because you cannot hold them accountable. Like, even if you can say you can vote them out in 4 years, they run on one platform and they execute another. And after 4 years, then you think, it's like, it's all shit. And I don't like any of these parties. We have more than in, for instance, the US. We have where you have more than 2 there as well. But there's 2 major parties and then some third parties.
How many parties are here in Netherlands?
We already have like around 15 in parliament itself.
15.
But I remember when I ran for parliament in 2021 and 2017 that both were record years of like how many parties went to the electoral board to say, hey, I want to run this election. I think around 70.
7-0.
7-0. But on the end, on the
Jeez.
ballot, there were like 25 or 26 on the ballot.
Why so
And
many?
Well, people are fed up with the fact that they're not that they're fucking up, and we're not holding them accountable.
Okay, I can see it there because Mark Rutte's government was like disastrous,
instance,
right? Like
yeah.
the stuff that he's done to this country, like it's unbelievable.
It is for one reason, for his fucking NATO job. Like he
Really?
just, yeah, that's the thing. There's this. Let me see. Yeah, I don't want to say this word because it sounds, conspiracy. But like it's like the globalist interest. Let me put it like that. Like there's people who want a unified Europe, and they want to diminish the nation state, and it's big government in bed with big tech and big corporations, which decide the agenda, and that's why I don't think they can be held accountable, because they have a monopoly on violence, and voting is not enough. Like voting is not enough. Like it doesn't change enough. The fact
I agree. Yeah,
my friend has a sex shop here, like on the
Sex shop.
a sex shop, like on
How close of a friend are we talking about? A good friend?
It's a really good friend.
Are we gonna
yeah.
visit them?
We
can
could
see-
definitely
check it out?
after
Alright.
the
I
show
love
we can go there. But she complains about the government that the fact that the trash is there, it's been there forever. Like, and they're complaining and it's not changing. If it would be a business, you say, hey, I'm going to stop paying you because you do not deliver.
Ah, okay. I
And
see
now we
what
get
you mean.
another one. And that mechanism in the free market, that you can stop paying someone, that makes the free market do their utmost best for your, for your money, for your interest, for your customership. How do you call that?
Yeah, clientele.
Clientele, yeah.
Yeah.
And that mechanism, that's the most accountable you can hold a person.
Yeah, I can see what you mean about that part. Like it's, but do you know the city is available on WhatsApp here, right?
That what is?
The city of Amsterdam is available on WhatsApp, and
Yeah,
they
then what?
communicate really well. Actually, so you might laugh, but many times when there's rubbish around our area, I actually WhatsApp the city, and they go like, "Where is it?" And then literally 1 hour later, it's gone.
Yeah. You have these apps. You have these. We're getting. That's interesting. You have these apps where you can send a photo, and then, I worked. I worked for the city of Amsterdam for 10 years as well. So. I think I was there when they start rolling it out, but yeah, that's interesting. But it's a small. It's not worth the price we're paying
No,
for it.
I agree with you. I agree with you there that it's definitely not the worth of the price. Like in this city, you need to make like 100,000 minimum to be actually living in a good way.
It's insane.
And it's insane amount of money, because when you think about the salaries they pay, like I just checked like a job for head of events of a company. It was 60,000 euros. 60,000. A freaking teacher here. By the way, there's a huge teacher shortage, right? So this is a city, I think, with the highest teacher shortage in Western Europe. It's so high that the schools have to close down the entire school because they cannot, like for a whole week, they can't find substitute teachers when the main teacher gets sick because they pay so little. You're talking
Exactly.
about, so you're talking about schools. Like if you think about like when we're thinking about first, second, and third world countries, we're thinking about third world countries. They don't have teachers and students. No, they actually have teachers in third world countries. They actually go to job. But here we're taxing the crap out of them. Not just Amsterdam, London, every Belgium, all of these countries are. But teachers. So I'm very passionate about this because if we don't have teachers, no matter what you think, the society won't start. Like there's no starting point. From 0 to 1, you need the teachers. And those teachers are from primary school, high school. They're really essential part of everything. And somebody needs to explain to me why a bartender makes more than a teacher in this city.
I can.
Tell me.
Because government fucks it up.
Okay. But even if they're private colleges, like British school, they pay less than like 50,000 euros.
Exactly the point.
Yeah.
Exactly the point. So I think I saw this research once that the cost of 1 year of college, of the cost of 1 year of going to high school, we have a public school system here. So I think there's one private.
There's a lot of private schools here, Robert.
Not high school.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry, not high.
Primary schools, high schools, a lot here, private. Yeah.
Well, okay, so
you live in your ivory tower, buddy. You just don't know.
If I only know about public schools, then it's not the ivory tower.
Oh, yeah, the other version. What's the opposite of ivory?
I'm living in a fucking slaughter dungeon. No, I mean they're there, but like because they also did a comparison to that. But I wonder how the ratio is. Maybe they're there, but there's way more public schools than there's private schools in Netherlands. And I think Amsterdam is also different than like other cities. So Amsterdam and the big cities probably have more private schools or international schools. Those are usually the private ones. But if you look what it costs for like tuition, or not tuition, but like the total cost of having a student go to high school or primary school or college in the public system versus the private system. The public system, if you add the taxes to it, is way more expensive. I have a friend, he got his PhD at the University of Amsterdam in child development studies. And he's a teacher, and he teaches teachers. Okay. And he said, yeah, we don't need more money to fix education. Like, it's not about education, but we just need a different type of education. I think, but here again, there's a lot of stuff being decided by the government, the curriculum. I mean, how much you get paid, like the union. You know, there's a lot of interference from government again. And that makes free market and the fact that you can say, hey, I want more teachers. Like, I want to pay this teacher. Is a good teacher. I want to pay them more. That's like, it's more set because you have an entry level. And this is for a lot of industries in the Netherlands where it works this way. And you see what happens. Like if when there's a shortage, like that, people don't like this. But let's say, for instance, that there's a drought somewhere in some country, and that means that water will get more expensive. People think that it shouldn't be that way because water is like a commodity. It's like a necessity. You shouldn't charge more for water than it costs or something like that. But the fact that it will increase in price will attract suppliers. So the problem of drought gets solved by the fact that water is getting more scarce, and then the price goes up, makes the scarcity go down in the long run because you have suppliers saying, hey, but now I'm living away here and have a different business. But now the fact that there's money to make, or there's money to make because it doesn't matter, they have to travel far because I can make up for it with the money I can get from selling water. It will draw in water supply to the place of drought. And this is a unique system in the free market where supply and demand gets equal by price discovery. And that's, I mean, and this mechanism only works if you have an untethered free market and you don't have a cap, or you don't have the government deciding how much you should pay for something.
Would there be a leader in this free market? Like, is there need for a leader?
Yeah, probably. I think this is how people operate, and I think I'm different than most people, anarchists, who think this way. Because a lot of anarchists, when they say no, there's leadership, they fucking despise it. But I'm not against leadership or hierarchy in all cases. I mean, Apple is a company run in some sort of hierarchy, but it's voluntary. There's no force. Like, I'm against the use of force. Everything should be voluntary. Okay. So, and that means that if you set up a company, you say, hey, let's say we start a company, and we set like a set of rules. Everybody can join or not, but if you want to join, this means our company. These are the set of rules we're going to set for this company. And if you want to come in, you can come in and join and adhere to these rules. And if not, we kick you out. Like, that's just the rules we set up. But there's freedom in it. Okay. The rules in this country are not free. I cannot, get away from those rules. I have to adhere to them, and that's so. And I'm against the use of force, and not per se the use of leadership. If if it makes sense.
Yeah, somehow it makes sense. I don't agree with everything, but I understand it. Like, I understand what you're saying.
What don't you agree with?
I just don't agree with like a use of like your metaphor about Apple and stuff. Like, a lot of people do work in those companies because if they don't get an income, and there's like it's hard for not to work in a company like these days and start your own company and start your free company. Like, you need to work extra hard now. No matter what, you pay taxes unless you live in some privileged area. But I think it also.
What do you mean? I don't get that.
Like, so no. Like, I mean, what you said about Apple, like working at Apple. So working at any corporate, right?
Yeah.
So you need to work.
Any company.
Yeah, any company. You need to work to make money. This is the basic of life.
Yeah.
It's either you work for yourself or you work for someone else.
Yeah.
This is it. You work for someone else, you won't get rich, but you have a stable income.
Mm-hmm.
You have predictable income. If you work for yourself, you can become rich. You have unpredictable income, but you might get double the money next month, and after that you might get nothing for 3 months after that. But you have the freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you have to risk. So
yeah,
that's
exactly. That's what
risk reward.
Yeah, exactly. Risk reward. A lot of people don't want to take that risk, and that's fine. That's totally fine.
Sure.
I understand that 100%. And
You're free to choose.
Free to choose. Within the companies, it's quite heavy. You can take the risk. You can go up in a company, and you might fail, but you still have the job. Like,
so, what don't you agree with in this?
The forcing part, the volunteering part. I don't understand exactly what you're saying there. Forcing and volunteering. Like,
well, the government forces. The MO, the mode of operation is forcing. I mean, there's rules. You have to adhere to them. There's no choice.
Yeah, because everyone is living in a social harmony. That's what you mean, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you want to call it that, but yeah, you're forced to pay taxes. You're
Yeah,
forced to adhere
okay,
to
that I
rules.
see.
You know, it's not voluntary for me.
No, I understand.
Every exchange, I believe, every exchange in your life should be voluntary. You choose to do it. You choose to work somewhere to pay something. That's what I mean.
That comes from the privilege of living in these countries, that you have this choice. If you live in Russia, you have no choice.
I know, but again, the problem is government.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No, I agree with you, but this is also the beauty of living in these high tax countries, because things work.
Beauty?
Well, the thing that you have kind of a choice, where in a lot of countries you have no choice to make a choice.
Okay, but that's fucking retarded. This is fucking. I understand, but you're just making my point that government sucks. I mean, Russia has a worse government than the Netherlands, definitely.
Yeah.
So they have more government, more interference, which is more fucked than the Dutch. So of course, but like less is better. That's my whole fucking point.
When you get annoyed, it's so. I feel like I succeed every time a little bit when you get annoyed.
You shouldn't get a reward. This is very easy to do. This is just like that.
There should be a little reward mechanism. Yeah.
Talk to some ex-girlfriends. They will chime in on this.
We will have to talk about your relationships, because
really?
I think. Honestly, I've known you for a little bit, but I think it's the most interesting part of you, how you managed.
I'm really curious what you're going to say now.
So many. I will talk about it. Let's talk about it later. But
okay.
We will definitely have to talk one episode about entirely about Robert and relationships.
We have to go. We have to go in depth in person anyway.
Yeah, I can't wait for that episode.
We're definitely going. Yeah. I'm just checking. What time did we start? How long we been going? Can you see that?
It's 47 minutes.
47. Okay.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. I know. This is. It feels like I'm having a lot of fun. Like I'm thinking about like I said. We will dive in a lot of these topics. I think I like to also delve more into the disagreement.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because I think there's, like I said, we never talked about this. You say you disagree with everything I say, but we actually never talked about it. It's just about different stuff. But it's not about politics and how we view society. And I think it's really interesting if we would explore our differences in this podcast on camera, also for the people who are watching, because they probably can identify with you or with me. And like I said, it's important to have an open debate in society and to foster that, and to help people do the same, and hope people also get inspired to talk more amongst themselves, among the peers and people who they don't agree with.
There's a great saying in Finland that it's like the strongest relationships with your friends are those that you repair after an argument. And I think this is really important. I have very few friends that I've repaired my relationships after a huge argument, and it's without a doubt the better relationship. There's not many of them. So I think this is also what we're missing a lot in the world. I really desire this. Not just with you, but anybody. Like, I think personal relationship, friendships, parents' relationship. If you have an argument, you get over it and you repair it. It just becomes so much better. You understand that there's nothing you need to actually hide or hold your tongue. And I think this is really needed. And I want to teach that to not just teach it, but I really want to preach it as well. Like, you feel free to disagree with me. I think that's really healthy.
I think it's good. I think it's also something. I mean, even though I have a real fringe political opinion, I had
fringe.
You know what fringe means? Like on the edge.
It's like you're definitely on the edge.
Yeah, I'm not. I know. I'm self-known. I say that. I'm really aware of where I'm standing in this society, but I don't care, because I think it's the only place to stand.
Yeah.
But I also think it's for me it's double, because I am really I can look for that confrontation, but also I have a lot of difficulty with it. That has to do with my upbringing and my childhood, and that I'm learning to. I guess I'm not easily offended, but there's still stuff I find hard to debate about sometimes. And that's the funny thing when I met you, because I knew when I met you that I mean, our interaction is like, it's besides it's not politically correct.
No.
It is. There's also some roughness around it, and there's no. I'm not sure how to explain
Sugarcoating it.
No sugarcoating.
No
Exactly. Yeah.
sugarcoating
There's no
it.
sugarcoating
Yeah.
it, and that's. And I don't like sugarcoating anyways,
Yeah.
but it was we brought it to a next level. I feel
Yeah.
like, and I think that's for me. It is also helpful in standing my own and learning to do that like everywhere. Like
You're growing up.
I'm growing up. Seriously, this is part of growing up.
It is
definitely.
true. Like when you hit like late 30s until like 38, I felt like I'm 41, and I felt until 38, it was exactly 38. I was like, I'm still a kid, man.
Yes,
I don't know shit.
yes,
What is
exactly.
this? And then suddenly I'm 30. I was like, whoa, life is crazy.
Funny,
It's like
that's
so many new things.
So I'm 39, and so since February, so since a few months, and I think I had the same thing now. I'm feeling like some emotional development going on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, wait a second,
Wait
wait
a
a minute,
minute.
wait a minute.
I don't
Yeah.
argue with everybody. Let's say like even like I have much more patience, and I listen like much more actively. But we will talk about all this in the future. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So we didn't talk about politics or news or developments in the world now, but we definitely will do that the next time. And this is I'm having fun already.
There's so much to talk about.
There's so much to talk about.
There's so much. We have a good list of stuff that we want to talk about. All right, so
we'll dive in everything. And we will dive into all the nitty gritty next episode next week. We're going to do this every Friday.
Yes.
We post it Friday at 7. Everybody watching this first episode, thank you for watching. We love that you're already here. We hope you liked it. Leave a comment below. Like our channel. And we see you next week. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Adios.
That's a wrap.
Yes.
That was awesome. I loved it so much.
That was.